also have
green
traditions and like conformity that they've just been raised with, and that's how they've been working. It's an established company. They've probably had a bunch of rules set up already and know how to manage these people. So
And that's definitely something we should worry about, is the various cultures that could be part of it. Because you're right, Arizona does tend to have a very high Hispanic population. So that's something we definitely need to be included with that. Same thing for Liverpool. England, depending upon, Liverpool is relatively industrialized, kind of. So there would probably be a higher diversity than there would necessarily be in, outer Wales.
There's another assumption I made. I assume that Arizona would have a higher job insecurity based on the fact that because they're, it's a state with more immigrants. In economic downturns, you are worried about being replaced by cheaper worker force, and then there's a structural difference in the labor unions between the states and England. I believe England is more regional based, as in like cities and stuff. So like everyone in Liverpool will be able to conform together and create probably change their in that company or in that plant more effectively. Whereas I don't think the way the state U.S. labor unions are structured would have that impact. There also wouldn't be, what's that aspect of the, it's like community oriented? It's like the different partisans, it's like community or nurture and not nurture. I forgot what those are called.
That's okay, I don't remember. But community featured focus is, as far as I remember, focusing on the external.
there you go.
Sorry about that. Focusing on the external community, people outside the company. So, what was I going with that for the lights? Well, let's get on to your solutions then. So you may need to let go of some workers while securing the jobs of key workers, as it is more expensive to hire new employees than to give raises. Certainly more expensive to hire new people than to give raises.
And also, although they may be in an economic downturn, because of their company structure, they're still having continuous inflow from past sales. These things are payment structures. So even though they'll have their cash flow inflow slow down in the future, not now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest problem, the catch is, well, we don't have a lot of money to spend because there's potential problems for cash flow issues, and there's delivery date on capital equipment that could cause issues as well. I think that the empowerment idea is a really good one because that's not really going to cost as much money. I mean, managers could take a simple course where they can learn about employee motivation and empowerment and learn to help them get through these tough times, because right now it doesn't look like they're really going through any financial issues besides the fact that everybody's, in a down economy, but that's happening to everyone. It's really that they're feeling the effects, and so I think we need to start at that problem because we can't fix the economy, so we need to start at the workers first.
Well, the thing I'd love to know is, does the company in a case actually, and what's their financial status? Are they just worried that the uncertainty is going to cause trouble? Or are they actually thinking about, we might actually lose money? Because I didn't see anything in there that says...
Well, it says economic uncertainty.
Right.
So...
But is the company planning on downsizing? Is it bad enough that they actually are thinking about losing employees because they can't afford
It
to
seems
pay
it's
them back?
just the employees who feel uncertain, but it
The
says...
managers aren't, they don't seem to be doubting anything. They don't seem
says somewhere that they're
It even says in the last sentence under the problem paragraph that on the positive side, Sanchez does expect to recover eventually.
Mhm.
So he is staying positive and he's actually trying to hire more people, which is a good sign because that means that they have money to hire more people. I think that he needs to let them know what he's doing now as a result, saying, look guys, I'm not going to be downsizing in the near future. What I really want to do is focus on whatever it takes to motivate you in your field.
actually, I just noticed another issue other than the economic thing. They're probably feeling insecure, and also that Sanchez is planning on giving the company to his son, so there may be a transition soon in ownership.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That'd be an interesting time to know what's their time frame
Yeah.
on the transfer, because an ownership transfer that at any time now during economic uncertainty certainly
Yeah.
would help employee happiness. That level of change would not be a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it depends if they know who the son is. Do they like the son? Is he experienced?
Has he worked there a lot?
Does he know the ins
company's
and
name
outs
is
of the
Sanchez and
business?
Sons, so I'm sure they're involved. It's just
Yeah.
how much.
Sure.
What's their position?
You're right. With the name, it's relatively clear they're involved.
Yeah. But do they want to be involved?
That's true.
I mean,
Or do they want to work for
have
him?
the same drive as
Yeah.
their father does, and are they going to be the same kind of manager? I think that it probably would help at the fact that they've maybe been working under their dad for long enough, and maybe they've seen how he manages the company and how he's not worried about the future of the company and recovering eventually. So hopefully that would kind of keep their faith.
So some of the stuff that we want to cover then is brain just totally shut down. Empowerment of the workers, getting them to help make decisions and provide ideas during right now through the economic uncertainty. That way they can help and feel like they're making a decision and making positive progress in the company.
I think another thing that would help is what a lot of companies do is they'll have like maybe quarterly meetings and they'll have a finance report and kind of show where they're lacking and where they're gaining, and it's going to be okay, because I think that would also help them, like seeing a physical number on a screen and having the actual manager or CEO telling them that we're doing okay and I expect to recover eventually. So possibly like getting together a big meeting where all of the employees come together. You can have like a lot of companies will have night meetings and then daytime meetings so that you can have them still working.
Still shifts.
And just keep it in shifts, so that could work too.
One of the things I think during the meeting is they want to provide, as I think it was mentioned in the communication chapter, they want to talk about how to properly communicate the information that you want to show more than just numbers and kind of show how it's going to affect
Right.
the people. One of the things I've actually seen before was burn rate information. The idea of, based on what we have now, if we had no sales as of tomorrow, we would survive for blah amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Just as that kind of information of, at the very least, you guys have this much time. Even if nothing is sold, for an amount of time. Admittedly, that might be horribly depressing if it's a month.
Yeah.
So that would obviously have to be involved.
So they should do like kind of a run through financial report before they're actually ready to present it. And if it's okay results, then I think that they should present it to the entire company.
And if it's not okay results, you can always skip over the financials and just talk about how everything is uncertain at the moment, but there are no plans for layoffs, no plans to get rid of anybody, and that kind of thing.
I mean, they can send out a memo to the entire company. They can use an indirect approach and kind of start out saying, here's where we're doing well. However, we're having some trouble in this area, but we expect to recover, and then kind of close it with, here's the solution that we're going to try.
And your idea of mentioning, we've been around for 30 years, we've had trouble before, kind of bringing in the history of the company, showing that, this kind of stuff has happened before, we should be fine. And while I'm not sure both sides or everybody would be quite so excited about the idea of the fact that the CEO has risked his personal assets, that certainly could be appealing, knowing that, the CEO is, the founder, is that committed to it, But like you were saying, depending upon the power distance support, they might go, oh, you make like a buck more than me. You're not quite the leader I thought you were.
Yeah.
So that would have to be taken into effect, and that would depend upon the cultures.
I mean, you can only assume that those are the kind of workers that they have in the Arizona company.
And that's one of the questions I'd actually like to ask.
Yeah, because it's not
Professor
included in the
Rubin.
sheet. Like, there's certain details that would be really important that they should have in here. Like, who exactly is working in the companies? How much are they making on average? Like, give us some numbers and figures.
Well, the numbers I'm not sure would make as much sense, but more of the cultural groups, because they did mention they're being paid below market rates.
Oh, okay.
So we know they're not getting paid as much, and if they did jump ship, they could probably make more. But but as a company, the client would want to reinforce those values that are keeping the employees there. The fact that they enjoy being there, the work is good, that all the other aspects of the company are still worth being there, to reinforce the certainty of the company. Definitely something with either company motto or mission statement as something to reinforce, potentially reinforce the issue of, the idea that they're interested in keeping the employees.
Yeah. Anything
that can be done to almost chain them to the door, to the desks, because right now, with the fact that they're paid below market rates, I think it's continuance commitment, the idea of they're just stuck there because they don't want to jump ship yet, is probably not that, high. Because if they jump ship, they'll probably get a pay raise.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely something that you need to go to the other levels of commitment. And it's certainly possible to reduce pay and do halt salary increases, but that'll depend upon exactly what the financial state of the company is.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have to do that, you don't really want to.
Well, I mean, I'm saying, like I said before, you could offer alternative ways of creating job satisfaction.
One of my favorite examples of creating non-job satisfaction, at one of the last places I was at, they announced that, we've got, I think, $14 million in the bank, we're doing good, our sales pipeline isn't looking that good, but we're relatively good. There are no plans on laying off. A month later, they're laid off a quarter of the group.
Wow.
And everybody was like, what happened to the $14 million that was in the bank? Where's our liquid cash? Even at, what was our burn rate, for God's sake, to burn through $14 million?
Yeah.
It's like, you guys suck. So after that case, absolutely nobody was interested in listening to it. So that's actually that's a relatively simple point, is don't screw up. Because once you screw up once,
they're not going to trust you.
They're not going to trust you anymore. So working and building on the trust that's currently there will be good. Any other thoughts? Okay. Then that's not bad.